Hi, everybody. I want to talk about something that we universally believe everybody pretty much has this drilled into them from a very early age, and what it is go get an education and get a good job. And if you get a good education, you're going to get a good job, and if you get a good job, you're going to have a good life. Um, and for so many of us, that is such a myth because, and we'll go to it to an extreme to the point that we even borrow money in our education, money we don't have, money that we'll be paying back for a lifetime, money that we can't even declare bankruptcy on because the rules now say you can't declare bankruptcy on a student loan. So money that is money that you borrow forever, that you can never get rid of, you can never discharge, is money that basically does never go away. We borrow that at our own detriment in a belief that it's going to get us a job so that we can have a standard of living, so that we, can have a little bit of security. The one thing I do agree with on Donald Trump, and I think this is where people really start to, um, believe in Trump and think that he's saying the right things. When he says stuff like this, Donald Trump says unemployment rate may be 42%. And I believe he's right. I believe that that's probably way more close to the unemployment rate than what it actually is today, because there just aren't any jobs. Anybody that knows someone or has people in the family or somebody looking for a job realizes that the whole concept of a job, of going out and hiring somebody and giving them a wage and some way of making enough money to support themselves and their family is pretty hard to do in today's world. I don't even think of a job as a job, and I think this is what people need to get over. There's no such thing as job anymore. It's like in most businesses, including my own business. My business is pretty much, there is no time that I'm not working. I work all the time because it's a lifestyle. It's, you got to do it all the time because whenever there's a problem, you got to fix it. Whatever you got to do, you have to solve it. So it isn't like a job, someplace I go and I work and I put in a little bit of time and then I go home and I enjoy myself. I think in today's world, jobs are not uh, predetermined, or they're not something that has any boundaries. I mean, jobs are whatever you can do in order to fix a problem or solve a problem or anything like that. In fact, if anything, most businesses, big business, is about getting rid of jobs, not creating jobs. So the concept of getting an education, getting a job, and then going out and finding an employer that's going to hire you is counter to what is really going on in the world today as far as business is concerned. If you watch stock prices, if you watch businesses, most businesses, all of a sudden, if there's a big layoff or if they get rid of a lot of middle managers, the stock price will jump up because the investors see that as a positive for the company. Oh, we got rid of a lot of payroll tax. We got rid of a lot of health employment benefits. We got rid of a lot of things. So this is really kind of what's causing a lot of grief in the middle class for people, is this notion that they're quite not living up to what it is they thought they were going to be able to achieve, which is get an education, get a job, have a good life. That there was a simple formula out there that they could follow. And once they followed that formula, that life was going to be pretty much as whoever their dad had or their grandfather had or something like that. They just existed. And this is just a bad notion, and it's a bad idea. And anybody that's following that pattern or that trend or following that formula has a really good chance of not being successful. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there, and they talk about why people aren't successful. So many people want to be successful, but they aren't successful, and a lot of people go into the fact that they just not power of positive thinking, the power of being positive about what you're going to be doing and everything like that. Well, some of this is just we got the wrong things put into our brain early on in life, and we need to shake that off and get into the real world, which is, the real world is, there just isn't going to be a perfect job for me. There isn't a perfect employer out there that's just going to offer me the perfect position. There just isn't going to be some place where I just fit in and have a really nice life with a really nice house, with a really nice car, pay for all my expenses and put some money away and have a nice retirement when I get to be 65. for the most part, that's pretty dated thinking, and it's not going to happen in today's world. Today's world's a little bit. You got to be thinking a little bit outside of the box, and you got to be thinking about how to be able to make money almost all the time, and not just for some brief period while you're at an employer or working for an employer. You got to figure out how to create other ways of making money, other ways of making. And with the internet, there's other ways of doing that, but you just have to consider that. So it's really killing people with the, and it's creating poverty. A lot of this stuff, when I see people like the police roll up on somebody, and they're poor, they don't have, maybe they've gotten arrested before and they haven't been able to pay their fines, so they get arrested again and they get thrown in prison because they couldn't they're on there's some sort of a judgment out there against them or whatever it is. This creates poverty within our system, within our society, and it just continues to just keep going because people can't see through what it is they need to do in order to raise themselves out of that particular situation. And education and a job probably isn't going to do it. And not only that, education is a huge business. A lot of people make a pretty good living off of people staying in school. So the education, not to mention the fact that it's subsidized by the government. So these universities make a lot of money by selling education to people and selling the fact that when you get out, you're going to have a job, which you're not, because they're not going to help you find a job. Most of them, when you get out, you're going to be off trying to do it on your own. The second thing that happens is jobs, or big in business, enjoys people that are willing to accept jobs. Because if you're willing to accept a job, you're willing to accept whatever they're willing to pay. And of course, you'll sell yourself short because you're hungry or because you need a job because you got to pay rent. So you're never going to reach your full benefit or your full maximum potential because you're looking for a job. I got to find a job. I'll take anything. I'll work some really crappy, stupid job, and I'll really do something way beneath my potential because I think I got to have a job because my dad told me I got to have a job. My mom told me I got to have a job. So I'm going to do something really stupid and really crappy just because I have a job and I can't find anything else. So really what the concept of education and jobs are is it's really selling us short of what our real true potential could be if we just thought outside of the fact that we got to get an education and get a job. Now, I'm not saying education isn't a bad thing because there's a lot of people that get educated and it leads to something, but there's a lot of people that get educated and don't lead to anything. So and the belief system is pretty much universal that education is going to lead to something. And that's far from the truth, far from the truth. So the way people have to really construct their thinking is not to think that there's just a magical formula out there that if you just do this, and do this, everything's going to work out, because it's not working. That's why our economy is bad. That's why people like Trump can come into the existence and with very little information get people to follow him because they want to believe something because they are frustrated, they don't know where to turn, they've lost their job, they're looking for one, they can't find another one, and a guy like Trump jumps in and says a few things, hey, I'm going to get the jobs back from Mexico, I'm going to get the jobs back from China, we're going to get them back and you're going to have a job again. I mean, that kind of talk is really based on the fear of I'm never going to have a job, or I'm Donald Trump's going to fix things. So anyway, that's like I say, it's big business for people to be in fear of not having a job and people wanting to get educated and thinking that's going to lead to something more than a menial job. So anyway, I appreciate you listening. Thank you very much.